Lights, camera, and action. Hi everybody. Well, you've seen me in the flesh for a long time. I just thought I'd post something to let you know kind of how I am at the moment. Life is a little bit boring, as you can imagine, as it is for you all. I'm still health-wise in the same situation basically as I was right at the beginning, although I've changed general practice. I'm now at a different practice surgery, and although they seem very efficient, I've not actually met anybody face to face. It's just kind of a telephone or email situation, and yeah, they seem to be much better than the previous ones. Regarding the case against the previous surgery, I've just hit a brick wall. It's impossible unless I spend thousands on solicitors and lawyers, etc. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere. I've been to every single organisation possible. The only other resort I've got is the Ombudsman, but they're not operating at the moment because of COVID. So by the time I kind of find out that they're working again, I'll probably sort of be dead. Anyway, what else is there? Yeah, I'm on a... Sasha, come here. Sasha's gone walkabout. Sasha! She should be on the lead at the moment, but I'm in a quiet place, so, and there are no deer, because it's birthing time for the deer, but I don't go anywhere near where they birth. I've done my research. Health-wise, as I say, is the same as normal. One thing I can show you is my plastic penis. There's a little surprise for you. I've got one of these things. Hang on, let me see if I can get it out for you then. Oh, dear. How do I do this? No. I can't. Well, take my word for it. I've got a little tube poking out of my side of my body, and that's where I do all my evacuation, which is a bit of a sex killer. What is sex? I haven't had that for a long time either. Now, what else has happened? Yeah, I had a burglary, didn't I? My garage and two of my bikes were nicked, and of course I was insured, but now the insurance people are saying they won't pay out because they're electric bikes. They're not expensive bikes, they're only sort of 700 quid, but they refuse to pay out because it's not in the terms and conditions, although the contents of the garage are covered up to £3,000. I don't know what else was nicked, but that was, well, I did see that it was nicked. And so I've hit a brick wall there as well. So, you know, we're all against these big organisations, Sun Royal Alliance, whatever it's called. They just refuse to move. And they've made me quite ill, kind of worrying about it. I'm fighting them. And again, Sasha, come here, Sasha. Sasha, come on, come here. I'm your mummy. Sasha. Come on. So all these huge companies have got us by the fucking bollocks as usual, and life's tough as far as that's concerned. But I'm going to fight them because, as you all know, I'm a bit of a fighter. I don't tend to let things go. But as far as the medical side, with the GP, I don't know where I'm going to be with that. I've also got another fight against the gym where I originally had my first accident, which necessitated me to have a hip replacement. Oh, the hip replacement, that's another medical thing. That's not happening either. I was supposed to have that 3 weeks ago, and of course that was cancelled due to COVID, and the private hospital that I was using was taken over by the National Health for COVID patients. Although I've been told, they rang me about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, asking me if I was interested in still having an operation, and I said yeah. And then I get a phone call from another hospital which it's affiliated to, saying that they got a letter from my GP asking me, when am I going to have my hip operation? Well, Mr. Errington, we're not doing hip operations at the moment because we're still a COVID hospital. I said, well, that's different to the information I was actually told by the hospital itself. And perhaps, maybe the situation has changed. No, Mr. Errington, I'm telling you that you will not be having the operation in the near future due to the COVID crisis. And then I said, well, why did if the hospital rang you, then they must be right, and kind of hung up on me. So I am really, really, really unlucky as far as getting things done, and it's no point losing a temper with these people because they're just people who are being told what to do and they do it, and whenever they sort of speak to a human being, they can't answer questions, a bit like the government at the moment. I'm not going to bash the government because I think they've bashed themselves up, quite frankly, but they have handled the whole situation rather badly. They've been late in everything, having been given the heads up with regards to the pandemic, through Spain, Italy and China. Although I have my theories about China. I think China actually created the pandemic deliberately, so they make fuckloads of money out of us all, with all the PPE and the equipment, etc. So they're winning hands down, and as they will all the time. It's the same thing. Big nations against little nations, big companies against the individual. Fortunately, the odds are against us. What else have I got to say? Oh, the most constant thing in my life is the dogs. I mean, the dogs have been amazing. They're always there. They're always by my side. They make me laugh. They look after me. Sasha, in particular, the bigger dog. I mean, she's got herself into a kind of a routine of sitting behind me, and then occasionally, if I ignore her, God forbid it, she'll just kind of tap me on the shoulder and insist on a hug and kind of nuzzle into me, which is really so endearing. Sometimes a bit irritating because it gets so hot, and they're always on my lap or somewhere on me. But hey, what would I do without them? They've been the best things I've ever done in my life, quite frankly. Regarding the social distancing and all that, I'm doing it. I treat everybody as a leper because that's the only way I can keep it in my head that people shouldn't be near me. However, as I'm sure you've all experienced, especially when you sort of go into supermarkets and shops that are open, as far as social distancing is concerned, it's non-existent. And unfortunately, where I live, I only live in a small little village, I suppose, and I don't travel very far unless I go to hospital. All the shops are very small, so it's very, very difficult to keep that distancing, which I try to. I wear masks, I wear gloves, and I do my bit. But what really is quite frightening is when I go into a park where there's great opportunity to self-distance. You see, especially the young kids, or the teenagers, I make myself sound old, they're congregating in huge, great big groups. They're certainly not self-distancing, they're cuddling, they're jumping all over each other. Okay, they're young and all this, that and the other, but clearly the message hasn't got through to them at all. Okay, they don't listen to the news, they don't read newspapers, but you would have thought perhaps, the parents or somebody would have indicated to them, what's right and what's wrong. I mean, I got into an argument with a group of girls who actually told me that I was wrong, and I just gave up. I thought, what is the point? They're going to start accusing me of rape or something. So I just walked away. But I don't see this, and I don't think any of us see this ending very, very early or soon, or in the next 2 or 3 years, because people just aren't behaving properly. And even if there is an inoculation, a vaccine that works, I mean, how do we know it'll work for the other kind of hybrid versions of a virus that happen in the future. But on the good side, at least the NHS are getting the recognition that they truly deserve. I say that with a heavy heart because I don't think it's the NHS's fault. I think it's just individuals' fault. I've actually had a pretty shitty ride from them. But as a whole, especially the treatment I received when I did get treatment in A&E and places like that, it was brilliant. But it's just the primary care that was so lamentably bad. I mean, dreadful, and I don't know what to do about it. You know, somebody has to be brought to task for what happened to me, and I'm sure to many other people. But alas, it's a battle I don't think I'm going to win. Now let's say hello to my little girls. Oh, look, there's Sasha. Sasha, say hello. Say hello. There's Darcy. There's Darcy. Say hello, Darcy. Good girl. Yes, you are. Oh, you're a clever girl. What would I do without them? Anyway, yes, I just thought I'd post this. I don't know what I've said. It was not rehearsed. And hopefully I shall see you all sometime, even touch you. Isn't that weird? I haven't touched anybody for ages. And I I don't actually like people very much. I do actually miss touching people, even smacking them. I do want to punch a few people, I must say, and I can't even do that. So maybe I'll punch myself in the face. Okay, people, keep safe, love you lots, and take care.